In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you the most powerful manifestation teaching that exists by far, yet nobody's talking about it. I've never seen anybody talk about it on the internet. I've only read it in the Bible and also in the Bhagavad Gita. So this teaching here is kind of hidden in plain sight because obviously we've known about it for thousands of years if it's in the ancient scriptures. Yet on the internet, in the New Age movement, we don't really talk about this. Although this manifestation teaching is the exact technique that I've personally used to improve my dating skills, to get a girlfriend by becoming a more attractive person, and also to start and grow my own coaching business that is currently making me about $10,000 per month. So this manifestation teaching works extremely powerfully, but it's not very popular or not talked about that frequently, and to be honest, I don't really know why. So I'm going to be sharing with you here, and I promise you it'll change your life. So the problem that I used to struggle a lot with that was preventing me from manifesting what I wanted in my life, like for example, when I was learning how to become more attractive in the dating field, the problem that always held me back from being confident was that I was too attached to the outcome of my actions. So whenever I would go see a pretty girl at a party or at a club or something, and when I worked up the confidence to go talk to her, I was holding this girl on a pedestal. I thought that if only I could have a beautiful woman in my life, then I would be happy. So there was like a hole in my heart, and I thought that this hole, this feeling of dissatisfaction that was in my heart, I thought that that would be filled with a girl. And then when I would go up and talk to her, was insecure. I wasn't confident. I had a kind of needy energy, and the key was that I was afraid. I was afraid that I would say the wrong thing, or that I would mess up my chances with this girl. And the reason why I was afraid was because I placed so much importance on the outcome. I thought that if I could get this outcome, this result, this girl, if I could get her to be attracted to me so I could sleep with her and so that I could have a relationship with her and just enjoy her beauty, then I thought that that would like solve my life problems, basically. And that was the thing that caused me to be needy, and I would go up to girls, they would always get weirded out by my needy energy, and they would politely tell me that they're not interested in me or that they need to go use the bathroom or something. And this kept happening over and over again until I got so frustrated that I was like, how do I be natural and spontaneous and playful when I talk to girls instead of being afraid and insecure? So I Googled around on the internet for some dating advice, and I found one video that really helped me a lot. He basically just told me, don't be needy. And I was like, okay, cool. Now I know not to be needy, but how do I not be needy? So I kept looking around on this guy's channel. It was Leo Gura from actualize.org, and I found some meditation videos. And I didn't know what meditation was or how it works, but he basically told me meditation is the most important personal development habit that exists because it helps you to center your mind and be grounded in the present moment so that you're not always chasing and after pleasures and running away from fear. So I was like, okay, meditation, cool, let me try it out. I tried it out. I really got into it. Leo told me just meditate for 20 minutes every single day, And what he said was that I would experience an exponential growth curve. So if I start meditating, I probably won't notice any results for the first year, like probably zero results. But he told me after 5 or 10 years of daily meditation, then I would notice that my life would just progressively get easier, more abundant, more happy, and I would just experience much more results in my life exponentially over time, to the point where after now I've been meditating for about 6 years, it's like my experience of life, I can intuitively tell, is way different than the average person who's never meditated in their life. I can derive so much enjoyment and satisfaction just from nothing. I can just sit and stare at a white wall and be happy. And that's the key. So once I learned how to cultivate internal happiness, which we're going to talk about how to do that in more detail, but once I learned how to just be grounded in my heart and to feel good without needing something else external to me to make me happy, a pretty girl, or more clients in my business, or more money or more status or whatever I'm trying to manifest, if I just let go of needing to manifest that and just feel good by sitting and doing nothing, then that is like the ultimate abundance. Because I realize that the source of happiness is in my heart. It's not in some pretty girl or in some money in my bank account. I can be happy regardless of the outcome, regardless of the situation. And that is what allows me to let go of attachment. So then, after I was meditating for years, I went on Vipassana retreats, over 10 of them, where I'd just meditate my ass off for a few years. Then when I started going out and talking to girls, my energy was completely different. Where as I would be at the party, for example, I was grounded in the self, or my awareness. I was just aware of who I am. Not Adam, not a 20-year-old guy who has white skin, not the body. I realized who I actually am, which is just pure awareness. And this awareness, in the Bhagavad Gita, they call it the self, or Jesus Christ calls it the Father, or in Zen they call it Mu, or in Islam they call it Allah, and they call it Source, or the Godhead, or whatever you want to call it, Yahweh. This is what you are. It's empty awareness. When you ask yourself, who am I? And you don't look for a verbal answer, but you just try to put your awareness on yourself, that sense of I am. So when I ask you, who are you? Right? Point to yourself. Right? If you were to point to yourself, you'd probably just go like this. Right? Notice how when I ask you to point to yourself, you don't point to your head. It's like, oh, this is me. No, this is not me. This is me. Every single person, it doesn't matter what country they're from or how old they are, you ask them, point to yourself. They point right here. This is what Ramana Maharshi called the heart on the right. It's about 2 fingers right to the center of your chest. This is the seat of the soul. This is what you actually are. It's almost like a void, like it's emptiness, but it's also love at the same time, and it's just bliss. It's a good feeling. It's like this, almost like a feeling of immortality. Like nothing bad could ever happen to you. So the reason why it's so important to know who you actually are is because then I'm no longer afraid of the outcome. I'm no longer afraid of the result. I don't care what the results are whenever I take action. I'm just happy and enjoying the moment because I'm grounded in who I am. I know that I don't need this pretty girl to make me happy. So that now when I actually go talk to her, I can relax and I can just have fun and hold space and make jokes and really be interested in her, right? And ask her questions and not worry so much about like having to prove myself to the girl. I just relax, have fun, be playful, and have a good time. And that energy made me way more attractive, where I would go talk to girls and I would notice that they would get attracted to me almost instantly just because of the energy that I was giving off. I was radiating love and groundedness and playfulness because it's almost like I'm lucid dreaming while I'm awake, which I have a whole video about called How to Lucid Dream While You're Awake. I realized reality's like a dream. Everything's made of consciousness. God's face is every face that I'm looking at. Every object is God's face. If you take a shit in the toilet and it's diarrhea and you go look in the toilet, that's God's face. Everything is just your own consciousness. It's a dream. And once you realize this and you just grasp it, then you're just like, oh wow, now I'm free. I'm free from attachment. I'm free from worrying about bad things happening to me. So people always talk about, okay, you need to let go to manifest what you want. But wait, how do you actually let go? Because sometimes people struggle with letting go. Obviously, all of us have struggled with letting go. This is kind of the point of existence, is to learn how to let go. So how do you actually let go so that you can be grounded in your heart? You can feel happy without being attached to the results of your actions, without being attached to getting more money or getting a girl. How can I just be happy independent of my circumstances? So that once you stop needing the thing, then you can have it. So in the Bible, in Matthew, he says, seek first the kingdom of God, and all these other things will be added onto you. So when you feel good first, when you realize your true nature first, then your manifestation doesn't matter. People are like, oh, how do I manifest more money? How do I manifest a girlfriend? How do I manifest more health? But the point is that if you let go of needing to manifest the thing, then you can have it. But all these videos on YouTube, the New Age movement, 5 seconds to manifest your dream life. Use this technique, use this visualization, read this book, do this this meditation technique. You can manifest whatever you want. The point is that all that's happening there is you are just chasing after egotistical desires because you think that whatever you're trying to manifest, you think that thing is going to make you happy. So when you finally give up the need to have the result that you want, then you can have it. Like, for example, sometimes I get nervous before I go to make a YouTube video. I get anxious. I get a little bit afraid that people are going to judge me for talking about these crazy concepts. I'm afraid to be fully myself sometimes. But the reason why I'm afraid is because I want to have more subscribers. I want to have a bigger audience so that I can help people and so I can have more status. But once I let go of the need to have that, then I can come on camera and say whatever the flying fuck I want to say. because I actually don't care anymore what other people are going to think of me. Are they going to like the video? Are they going to subscribe? Are they going to stay on the video? There's people, they're editing like 10 edits per second. Guys, I don't want to do 10 edits per second. I want to go outside and walk and look at the trees. I don't have time to edit my fucking videos 10 edits per second. So now that I've given up the need for the result, now I'm free to be my authentic self. And a lot of people resonate with that and they subscribe because they're like, oh fuck, he doesn't care about trying to like make me stay on the video. He's not trying to like hack my brain. He's just honestly, authentically expressing himself, and that helps people. So how to let go? There's only one way. There's it doesn't matter like all these techniques. There's only one way. You are the self. You are the self. You are the witness. It doesn't matter what happens in your experience. It doesn't even really matter if your body dies. And this is not permission to harm your body or hurt your body. It's good to take care of your body, because when you realize that it doesn't really matter what happens to you, even like, for example, guys, like this past year when I was starting my business, my finances were tanking because I was investing all my money into courses and coaches, and my house, I had to move out, and so I can make these videos without my parents being home. I was investing all my money into my business to the point where my finances were tanking, and it was getting to the point where like, am I gonna like run out of money? Am I gonna have to go sleep under a bridge? Am I gonna be evicted? Am I gonna have to eat ramen noodles every day? I was afraid. And even when I would talk to clients, or even when I'd make YouTube videos, I was afraid that I need to make a perfect video, or else I'm not going to make any money. Or when I talk to clients, I'd have to do a perfect sales call, or else I'm not going to make any money. So I was attached to the outcome. But what I did, what helped me a lot, was to double down on my meditation and to remind myself. And really, I had to get to a point where I actually come to peace with the idea of dying. Where it's like, if I die, that's okay. Because the self, the witness, is empty. It can't be hurt. It can't be pierced or stabbed or burned. The self, your awareness, who you actually are, can't be wet. It can't be dried. It doesn't matter what happens to you, because you are always the witness of what is happening. You're the empty witness. Have you ever seen people like Wim Hof, where he's in his underwear in the Himalayan mountains, and there's like a -30 snowstorm, and he's walking in the snow barefoot, and he's fine? Most people would die. They'd get frostbite. Do you know why Wim Hof is able to survive in that inhuman weather? Not because of the special breathing technique that he does. Everyone's like, oh, the breathing. It's not the breathing. Wim Hof knows who he is. He knows that if you're just aware of the fact that you are immortal, you are like just empty awareness. You're not a form. You're formless. You're unmanifest. You're the subject. You're the timeless subject. It's like you're like the camera that's filming the movie, kind of. It's like, regardless of what happens in the movie, right? If there's an explosion and the building blows up and everybody dies, the camera is unaffected. The camera is still gonna film it. It doesn't matter. So it's an analogy, or even better analogy is that the screen, the when you go to the movie theater, there's that white screen that the movie's projected onto. When we are born into our lives, we forget that we are actually the screen and that everything else is just a dance of light. And we get attached to the dancing light on the screen. We think we are a character in the movie. So then the character gets attached to the stakes. We're afraid, like, oh, if I don't make enough money, then I'm gonna die and that's it. But we don't realize that the screen is never gonna die. The screen is always in the background. It's eternal. It's infinite. It's the self. It's God. It's what you are. You can realize this by just asking yourself the question, who am I? And the answer to who am I is not a verbal answer, because that's still a character on the screen. We're not looking for a verbal conceptual answer like, oh, who am I? Oh, maybe I'm a soul, or maybe I'm energy. We're not looking for a word. We're looking for the truth of who you are, which is here. It's right here. It's just you're here right now. It's not hidden. It's here. It's who you are. It's the subject. It's not an object. It's the eternal subject. Once you realize that's what you are, it's just bliss. Everything is amazing. There's nothing to worry about ever. So you just live your life constantly, moment to moment, remembering that it doesn't matter what happens. If I go talk to this girl and she's beautiful, she's 10 out of 10, and I go talk to her, it doesn't fucking matter if she likes me or doesn't like me, because I'm the infinite self. I'm the formless Godhead. I could fucking say what I want, do what I want, and this is not like permission to like commit crime or like go rob a bank. So people say, oh, Adam, I can do whatever I want. Okay, I'll go jump off a bridge or I'll go rob a bank. No, see, if that's your answer, if that's your like first inclination, that means you don't know what I'm talking about here. Because when you realize that you're the self and that nothing matters, then you also realize that there's no difference between you robbing a bank and you starting a business that actually helps people. Or that there's really no difference between jumping off a bridge or not jumping off a bridge. You just stay alive. What's the point of jumping off a bridge? If you realize that you're immortal, why would you want to end the dream? Why wouldn't you just continue the beautiful dream? You can go smell the flowers. You can go look at the trees, see the animals. You can enjoy your body. This body took a lot of food and energy and like to maintain. It's difficult to make this body. So why would you go waste it? That makes no sense. And then even though you're not the body, when the body dies, if you want a new one, you'll probably just incarnate into a new one. That's what life does. Things that are born will eventually die, and things that are dead will eventually be born. Alright guys, I don't want this video to be too long. This is the ultimate manifestation teaching. This is the only way to manifest what you want, is to let go of the need to manifest it by realizing that you're the self and you don't need anything to be happy. Even things like money. Adam, if I don't manifest money, I'm gonna fucking die. I'm gonna be out on the streets. Yeah, so maybe you'll die. Okay. You'll still be here. You can't go anywhere. There's nowhere to go. You're going to be here. You're just empty, eternal I am, always present. Alright guys, that's all. If you're interested in talking to me one-on-one, I do reality creation, manifestation, and awakening coaching, where we go into more detail with all the techniques and all the mindsets that I personally use to manifest my dream life. If you're interested in that, you can reach out to me, book a clarity call with me, where I'll talk to you one-on-one, see what your problems are, and see if I can help you. And if that's something you're interested in, reach out. And otherwise, I'll see you in the next video.